Hey everyone, welcome back to the Jewish Health Podcast. How is everyone doing? Thank you so much for listening. If you may have seen, and if you follow me on social media, recently I've been posting a lot more YouTube content. So obviously, you could watch this on YouTube if you wanted to. You could be listening to this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, um, whichever way you like to listen to podcasts. And recently, I've been doing a lot more kind of middle form content. Maybe this is the longest, and then this YouTube is a lot YouTube videos and doing a lot more YouTube videos. So there's a lot more vlog type of content, and hopefully over time I'm going to put on the podcast more interview based with clients and other people, which I plan to do at the beginning of the year. Don't worry, I'm still planning to do that, and maybe other things, maybe a bit more conversational, and then you obviously got the more vlog style. If you like listening to about my stories and so on, a lot more on the YouTube side, but there'll be a mixture of both. And do not worry, you've got plenty of content to watch. So this episode is kind of going to be a three-part series. So the new Jewish year is coming up in just under 2 months, and every year I remember when I'm in conversations on Instagram or chats, and they get to New Year's, and then just not, people are not very happy with their physique, not feeling confident with what they're wearing, and so on and so on. So what I've done is I'm going to talk about my personal experience regarding New Jewish Year and how I conquered my relationship with food and how I deal with lots of different foods, and also my tips for you actually if you wanted to feel more confident during that a few weeks holiday, where there's loads of Jewish holidays and festivals, celebrations, and if you're wanting to maybe cut a bit of weight, cut a bit of fat, this series is going to be for you. Because I see so common that people want the quick fix, and there'll be a week before, then we got family events, and you're like, okay, I need a quick fix, and you do these crazy, pointless diets, or you do these crazy 7 minute, 10 minute ab workouts because someone who's got a crazy physique on Instagram says you do it, and you do it, and you feel good for afterwards, but it's pointless. So the reason why I've done it 2 months out is yes, any transformation, like if you wanted a long-term change, it takes longer than 2 months. I'll be honest, if you want a long-term sustainability, but what you can do in 2 months is so much, not just from a like physique perspective, but routine, mindset. And this is the kind of the three-part routine, three-part series. So this series is what you can do 2 months prior. There'll be another part about, well, the last part will be actually when it's like a week beforehand, when actually I'm going to be in Tel Aviv. So so that'll be a fun episode. You'll see my backdrop. Maybe it's the same, but maybe it's in backdrop, or maybe I'll be by the beach, by the sea. Who knows? That's something I'm looking forward to. And then the second one, there's lots of topics to talk about, or maybe 1 month out, and actually what I would recommend, or if it's too late, what you can still make changes. Because even a week before, of course, you're not going to make a whole huge transformation, but you can still build such a good routine and help me feel a lot better mentally, and that's the important part. So 2 months out, here we are. So it's around August, September, yeah, and I'm going to talk about what you can do right now. What I would do. Oh, this is the thing. This is what I would do if I was in my position. Now, you can't. Again, this is kind of for lots of things to talk about. You can't just copy and paste what I say here because everyone's very different. Everyone's got a different environment. Everyone's got different lifestyle. Everyone's got different needs. So listening to say, okay, I'm doing exactly what he says. What you want to do is try and pick out one or two things that actually works for you, or try and pick out everything and then try and put it into your shoes, which works for you, and so on, and try your best really. And of course, before I give you the information, if you do want support, if you do want uh, taking the hard thinking out of it, then I that's my job. That's my job. And as an online coach, I help people become the best version of themselves through health and fitness, through training, through nutrition, through accountability, and so on. And this Sunday I'll be opening my coaching doors. So last month or so, I've not opened any new clients because I just work on new current clients, and for myself to have a little break. This Sunday, I'm going to be opening my doors to new clients. So if that is something for you, if you listen to this now, amazing. If you want to claim a place now, send me a message on Instagram with like coaching, and I'll tell you a bit more information. So the one thing I would do right now, and depending on your goals, is one, focus on setting a routine, and that's really, really important. So if I laid out loads of different things, the first thing you want to do is think about walking every day, moving every day outside the gym. So if you had a first thing in the morning, if you schedule 20, 30 minutes or some part of the day, let's say 20 to 30 minutes at the beginning, that you're just walking around the block, walking around that area, walking around the area. Those 20, 30 minutes, even before you get to work or after you get to work, prioritize that. Now, throughout the day, how can you walk more? Can you walk to shops for lunch? Are you going shopping some parts and you're walking around Tesco? So underrated sometimes doing a longer shop. Like it's a game. Sometimes you're there for half an hour and you're just walking around. It's perfect. But what you want to try and do right now is build a routine. If the number one priority right now regarding anything is moving more. So it's doesn't have to be a workout. I would rather you actually walk more right now than actually do a workout, because walking right now, you can stay consistent with it. It's not going to be of course, you got to work around your time and environment, but it's not going to be too long. You can do it from, you don't have to go to anywhere and so on. That's something I would do. Another thing I would do, of course, if you can, train. So, of course, I mentioned before, knuckle down, stay consistent with steps. But let's say you do have time and you do want to work out, ensure you're doing 2 to 3 workouts per week. And I would recommend strength training, but whatever you enjoy. If you enjoy strength training at home, if you enjoy doing boot camps and you enjoy doing hits, just true 2 to 3 times per week. Now, honestly, depending on who you are, but if you're someone who's wanting, this is like maybe the first time you're trying to focus on your fitness journey, or maybe you're a long time gone back, 3 times per week is more than enough. Now, if you're, and this is a little side point, when you are progressing over time, and if you're working out 4 or 5 times a week plus, and you're not making the fat loss, the weight loss progress you want, the workouts isn't the problem. It's either you're not moving enough outside the gym, or you're not. It's nutrition. You're not in a calorie deficit. The workouts, what type of the workouts you do, is not the issue, and it's very easy just to think, okay, I'm going to go more intense with the workout. Actually, and that was my biggest game forward. I thought, okay, more workouts, more tough, more intense. Actually, no, it wasn't that. Keep it how it is. It's more challenging itself. Stay consistent with that. Actually, put the effort in sort of outside the gym, which was the hardest part. So on. So training, walking, and nutrition. Now, of course, 2 months before Jewish New Year, the reason why I've done this is because with that time, I don't want people, and it's my clients and a lot of people, is this is the time of year where it's not top priority to try and lose weight, because this is the time of the year where you are spending time with family. There's a lot more food. This is an exciting time of the year where actually you want to enjoy yourself. You want to have more food than usual because you're creating memories. You don't want to be thinking about restricting yourself from food. And that's why prior 2 months beforehand, you start making progress. It allows you to enjoy yourself, but also try and look at maintaining weight. And that will build long-term better relationship with food, because you don't feel like, oh, every festival you dread because you're going to maybe put on a bit of weight, or there's food that you don't normally have. Actually, if you understand, maybe you can actually enjoy yourself. And this is kind of like this is what I'm going to talk about when I master my relationship with food in the second episode. And this is what I do right now. For me right now, I'm not doing any cutting and so on. I'm just kind of maintaining. But maybe last year or 2 years ago, I'm trying to think now, I would try and lose a bit, try and do a little cut beforehand so I can maintain weight during the Jewish New Year and not feel guilty at all for having food, because this is a special time of the year with family, and you shouldn't feel guilty. And that's going to be the top priority of the next podcast episode. Yeah, but the nutrition, obviously, if you're wanting to cut weight, you've got to be in a calorie deficit. We've got to be finding ways to ensure what we're having, learning more about what we're having, learning more about our calories. Now, this is daunting for everyone. And now this is where I don't talk too much, because everyone's very different. Some people tracking calories is going to be the best thing in the world. And other people tracking calories can be the worst thing in the world if you have an eating disorder or something. And there's lots of different strategies. But the most importantly, if you are wanting to cut weight, then naturally you're going to have to be in a calorie deficit. How you do it it's going to be different for everyone. But it's facts here. Tracking calories is going to be the most effective way to know exactly how what calories in what and which, so that you know exactly what you're having. And there's other ways where maybe you are going to be in a calorie deficit, but you're not certain for sure. And that's when you look at metrics, and that's when you look at, well, are my clothes getting bigger on me, and so on. And then you've seen progress, or am I feeling more confident, and so on. And that's really, really good. So that's regarding nutrition. And of course, with nutrition, in fact, my tip that I would say for everyone is: can you have more protein in every single meal? Like everyone's goal should be, no matter what goal you have, that's weight loss, muscle gain, confidence, any goal. If you had a problem with protein with every single meal, you're on your way. Like, you stay consistent with that. Whatever goal you have, you're going to see physique changes. You're going to feel better. You're going to feel more full, and so on. So, if there was one tip I could start right now with everyone, and if I started from scratch, I would ensure that every single meal I've got a palm of protein, and I would make sure I'm strength training, and I'll make sure I am walking. And that's it. Really, that's what I want. That's if I was in my position right now, this is what I would do 2 months out. And then closer time, or maybe if I wanted to be a bit more strict and more disciplined, or actually do I want to go a bit ease if I've made some progress already? And of course, there's various things I would recommend as well, but I think this is too hard to say in the podcast without knowing what everyone's needs are and so on. But this is really, really important. And I think concluding the first episode, first episode of this series is, I really think for a lot of people, it's about self-awareness. And a lot of times it's, you get to the new year and you feel guilty for enjoying yourself over this time. And maybe you don't feel as confident. And actually, it's a self-awareness. So actually, you should have taken action a few months before. And I take that as a positive. Even when I had that, and I think a lot of people have it, I take it as a positive, even though if you did feel a bit guilty, and if you do feel, oh, maybe I should have done something about it, now you know. Now you know for next time. So sometimes you've got to go through those periods to learn the next time and not make mistakes, but now you know. And that's what unfortunately health and fitness is about. That for most people starting their fitness journey, when they've confident in the gym, when they're kind of like not perfect, but they're being consistent, a lot of times they had to make some mistakes to be where they are today. Now, it doesn't mean you have to make all these mistakes, but actually going through a process, understanding what was right and wrong, and taking the wrong, turning it into a right, is really, really good. Now, because you're not going to be perfect, and so on. So that's what I would do. That's what I would do if I was in, and most of your shoes. Now, everyone's shoes are very, very different, and some people will take longer than shorter. But for 2 months, some people can lose a lot of weight in 2 months, and some people can't. It will take a lot longer, and everyone's very, very different. So understand your strengths and weaknesses, and of course, if you have any questions, send me a message on Instagram. And again, as a reminder from earlier in the call, I am opening my coaching doors this Sunday. So if you want to claim a spot, send me a message on DM with coaching, and I will send you all the information. And maybe I can take all the hard thinking out of this process over the next 2 months, so you don't have to listen to all my podcasts, and actually I can just do the hard work for you. But of course, you've got to do the hard work, because it's going to be, you're going to have to make the changes. It's not me doing it for you, but I can help you along the way. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. And the next series is not going to be like one week after the other. It's going to be like probably a few weeks time, and another one a week's time. But it's kind of, it all links. So eventually you can go to, let's say in 6 months' time, listening to this. Well, you can probably go from 1, 2, 3 for the next new year. Anyway, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you soon.